So whatever my mind can see, that I will achieve. Because I do the things I should, to my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow.
Yes, let me say good night to my brother Chico, who is getting out of the studio, and Patches is coming in, and time for me to say a very pleasant night to all my people in St. Kitts and Nevis, and to all throughout the entire Caribbean region. My Straight Talk family in the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora, it's time for me to say greetings to all who are logged on to zizonline.com. All of you who are on social media, Facebook, YouTube, whatever the platform is, I say greetings. I know that there's some all around the world. There's some of you in Africa. There's some of you in Europe. There are a whole lot of you all over Asia, and yes, multitudes right here in North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and in some case I'm at liberty as well to say good afternoon, because one of such greetings would be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves, perhaps on a short what? No, we're just getting out of the pandemic. The vacations are done, and we're just trying to get back some semblance of normalcy wherever you are. And I just hope and pray that we are all still staying safe. But if you're joining me for the first time, my Straight Talk family, Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express ourselves freely. On this program, we ought, and I ask you as well, to keep St. Kitts and Nevis in the process as one of the freest countries in the entire universe. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. I always do this at the end, but I'll do it at the beginning. Without our technical people like Alva Bradley, who's in the studio, as well those in the back room, Bevan Wilkinson. I haven't heard from Bevan for a long time, but I've seen his works. And what about John James? Without them, Straight Talk would not be possible. I want, first of all, as well, to extend condolences on the passing of my very good friend and fellow constituent Carlos Brazier, was gone to the great beyond. And I really want to extend condolences to his entire family on behalf of the Straight Dog family and on my own behalf. His mother, trying to remember her name, but his brother, Rusty Dusty. We just want to say, be strong and remember that death is just a process. Last Friday afternoon, I entered into an establishment and a song was played. A song was being played that I have not heard in ages, believe me or not. I have not heard that song in ages. And I'm sure that many of you are too young to know this song. This is a song that was played.
What a difference a day made, 24 little hours. What a difference a day makes. The rainbow before me, skies above can't be stormy. What a difference a day makes, and the difference is you.
And that song, my Stray Dog family, or the words of that song evoked within me a mood of self-introspection. Self-introspection, my Stray Dog family. And I believe that all of us as human beings have the capacity, or should I say, have the ability to communicate internally with oneself. And that is a process that is called, I believe, self-reflection. Well, when I got home about an hour or so later, I went onto Facebook in order to keep abreast with the happenings in the Federation. And lo and behold, I was just in time to listen to a short interview with the Right Honorable Dr. Denzel Llewellyn Douglas, our former Prime Minister, who is now leader of the opposition. After the interview was concluded, I had to say to myself, what a difference a year makes. There is no doubt in my mind that after 6 years in opposition and having served nigh 20 years in government as the Prime Minister of St. Kitts, Nevis, Dr. Douglas, beg your pardon, obviously had a lot of time to think about his character and or his behavior, or should I say, his performance as the second Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. Dr. Douglas, no doubt, had time to analyze the reason or reasons that caused him to behave the way he did as our leader and Prime Minister. Where this type of behavior came from. He also had time to analyze what was the outcome, or what the outcome rather of this behavior means to him, even now, as the leader of the opposition. But listening to Dr. Douglas on Friday, I am more than ever convinced that he must be thinking that we, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, are faceless strangers. We all have to wear our masks. So he makes statements like this one, my straight. And you know, when we're faceless, my straight dog family, he makes statements like this one. They said, because he believes that behind our masks, he doesn't know, he doesn't see, and I'm sure have that tendency.
I'm a medical doctor. I believe in vaccination. I know that in this country in the past, several contagious diseases have been allayed, have been put to rest because of vaccination. But not to politicize this thing, and that is what has happened, and that is why I think we are where we are today.
What a difference a year makes. As Dr. Douglas obviously thinks that he's talking to faceless strangers because we are still wearing our masks. If Douglas believes in vaccinations, why? Tell me why. Isn't he counted in the 90% of the doctors who have taken their jab? Answer that question, I ask Dr. Douglas. Why, of the 90% of the doctors, why haven't you taken the jab? And these figures are not mine. These figures came from the medical chief of staff, Wilkinson.
We have been in this fight from the very beginning since last year, and we'll continue to fight for every single person, including those who want to take the vaccines and those who do not want to take the vaccine, because no one is safe until everyone is safe. And I just want to tell everyone out there that more than 90% of the doctors in the Federation have taken the vaccine. A number of our frontline workers have taken the vaccine. I have taken the vaccine. My wife has taken the vaccine. My children. I would not be doing that if I didn't think it was safe and effective. And so I encourage you to do the same.
Yes, we are still encouraging you to take the vaccine. But if this was not politicized, or if anyone rather has politicized the distribution of vaccines in St. Kitts and Nevis, it is the Honorable Dr. Denzel Douglas. Douglas, as a medical doctor, made irresponsible statements like this one. He has never withdrawn to date. Up until now, he has not withdrawn this proposition about the vaccines.
No, what questions we have gotten here is what is in the vaccine. People are saying, well, they don't know what it is, and so if they don't know what it is, they don't want it in their bodies because they don't know what it's going to do. How could you allay such fears?
Right. And it's surprising, this morning several people called and asked me if it is water that these people are taking. I mean, that is the extent to which people have basically descended. I don't want to say what it is.
So, I can only fully agree with the current Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Sylvester Harris, when he said that the former Prime Minister has done a misservice to the medical profession and to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I can only agree with this.
Even as a medical practitioner, Dr. Denzel Douglas has done a disservice to himself, to the country, and to the years of outstanding leadership which the Labour Party had on the Bratcher, on the South, well, on the Limor, in attempting to find a political space that doesn't deny the rationality of the national agenda. What greater national imperative could there be than to keep us safe?
None. But my straight dog family, putting Douglas aside, is that towards the end of last month, March 2021, we crossed the 1 year mark practically living life indoors and away from so many important things and people in our lives. And oh, what a difference a year makes as we are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel for the pandemic. But it cannot be just getting back to without accepting that things must change. We must be ready and be prepared to create a more inclusive and equitable society after this pandemic. It is also important to call out what our medical community has accomplished over the past year. Our doctors, our nurses, and forgive me for that oversight last week, as I forgot to recognize Nurses Week. But thank for good-hearted persons like my friend Rodney Nevis, who remember the nurses. Good night, Rodney. She remembered the nurses and did, in fact, recognize them last week.
Well, to be honest, I always admire nurses. You know what, right, is that what really pumped me, I wasn't feeling well, and I went to the hospital. And when I went there, I was treated like a princess. I stayed home for a week, and then came back to work, and I tell my worker, I'm going to do something for the nurses. And then Dean Daniel came by and said, what do you do? So I told him what I was doing. He said, I'm going to give you a contribution. So I want to say thank you very much to him, because he really came through for me. And then on Tuesday morning, Katie, daughter, came by, and she said, Rodney, me hear you go cook, me hear it on the news, so see some box of vegetables here. And then my daughter husband, he bring me a lot of fish. And I said, I'm going to give back. Thank to God.
If you know Rodney, that's Rodney. Kudos to Rodney. If it's thing Rodney always do, is she put it where her mouth is. Good night again to you, my good friend from St. Paul's, now exiled in Nevis, Rodney. I say so respectfully. It's important to call out as well all those on the front line, our police, our soldiers, our customs officers, our employees at CASPA, all of them, and NASPA. Also our civil servants who kept the wheels of government grinding. Don't forget also our shops and supermarkets who made a lot of money, yes, but they made sure that they had adequate stocks in their warehouses so that we always had food to eat. We cannot forget our bus drivers. Some of them were stubborn at first, not wanting to wear their masks and or sanitize their vehicles. But they have played a pivotal role in getting us back to some semblance of normalcy in our daily lives. And transportation, you will agree, often serves as a broader barometer of society. But overall, there was a unity of purpose. And the only unities that last, that has any durability, are unities of purpose. The effects of unity, born of a clear and substantial purpose, are exhibited in St. Kitts and Nevis. Similarly, the consequences of confused goals are immediately discernible in decay, destruction, and disillusion. Although it is objectively true to say that 2020 is, on balance, one of the worst years of the last century lived by humans. But it will be quite a while before we understand thoroughly how history will judge the year of the pandemic. However, now that the year is officially in the rearview mirror, and now that the distribution of vaccines is providing us a slight glimpse of what might be the faintest glimmer of light at the end of the COVID-19, we must start thinking about what 20 has wrought and what it means for us as a people. There's a famous quote from Vladimir Lenin, which goes like this, and I quote, "There are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen." To deny that our world has fundamentally changed, or has not fundamentally changed in the last year, is to deny reality. The nature of life is changed, and to resist this, to want things to go back to normal or remain the same, is like trying to design and control the uncontrollable. Our lives have been changed by the events of 2020, and now it is up to each of us to determine how we wish to move forward. And note I said move forward, because Denzel Douglas is cooping. Now, cooping has different meanings, depends on the context in which it's used. But when we as small boys or young children, we are cooping, it's like playing hide and seek. How many of us remember that game from small days? We had to coop somebody. That's a colloquial term. Douglas summoned his party to a conference, and I'll tell you why we think he's cooping. He summoned his party to a conference yesterday, Sunday. I would not believe that after 20 years as Prime Minister, Douglas is still talking about transition. Do you believe that, Straight Dog family? He's still talking.
After the last general elections, I told women who come from leadership of this great party that there's a number of things that I wish to do, which is to properly pass the mantle of leadership to the next leader as part of a smooth transition process. When the mantle is passed, comrades, we'll be ensuring the high levels of commitment and visionary leadership that are essential, especially in these challenging times here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I am committed to the successful transitioning of Labour's leadership process. I will not walk away at that critical juncture. No, I never will. Like so much in life, this is all about timing.
It's all about timing, my Straight Dog family. He's not going to walk away because, like I said, he is cooping, my Straight Dog family. He has been saying that for years. Now it's about timing. Douglas believes that government by January 2021. Not me. He said that. He said this yesterday. Do you believe this, my Straight Dog family?
This special conference must be seen in the context of modernizing the existing management structure of our party and rooting it within the constitution of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. And this is a key step in our return to the winning aura with which Labour has long been identified. I remind you that our party began back in 1932 as the Workers' League and has a noble legacy which no other party anywhere in the Federation Day. In January 25th next year, we shall be celebrating our 90th anniversary of a great party. Big celebration, big birthday, and maybe we will be in government by that time, my dear comrades.
The man has to be illusional. Or should I say that Denzel Douglas has a delusional disorder. He is paranoid and displays a type of serious mental illness called psychosis, as he appears as though he cannot tell what is real from what is imaginary or what he is imagining. Douglas claimed to be the most popular leader ever to be elected in St. Kitts and Nevis. I am not fabricating. Douglas said he is the most popular leader ever to be elected in St. Kitts and Nevis. Trust me, my straight dog family, the man is paranoid.
You are in the worst of pandemics for a long time, I think, in the history of our country and the world. You have failed to respond appropriately in terms of looking after the human needs of our people. Dr. Douglas has just failed. He has failed the people. But he is narcissistic, so he cannot accept the blame. He must throw the blame on someone else. And so Dr. Douglas, who appears to be the most popular leader ever to appear in this country, takes the blame.
Think about it, my straight dog family. Dr. Douglas, the most popular leader ever to be in St. Kitts and Nevis. Douglas is the most popular, but lost two successive elections, 2015 and 2020. As a matter of fact, my cousin Rara said that the Team Unity government was not ready. Team Unity was not ready, but called elections. Could you believe that, my straight dog family? Trust me, this is what she said.
They still believe that in 2020, ordinary people have no sense. They still believe in 2020, they could just come and disrespect the intelligence of ordinary people. But we have news for them. We have news for them. And so they think that the people are foolish. But we know that that motorcade is their destiny. For it's clear to all that Timothy Harris called this election and they were not ready. They were not ready. And so they called an election and he was shocked next day to see the bull labor going up and they say, wait, you go all up by you see them pile up in the yard when we root up all of our billboard. Not ready for the cotton. He's not ready yet. And then, look at what is happening. We already launched 2 manifestos, not one. And the government called an election is still to launch the manifesto. Don't even have a manifesto. They are still to launch the manifesto and the elections are Friday to show you that they're completely...
And my straight dog, that Friday, my dear cousin Marcella Liburd referred to was Friday, the 5th day of June 2020, the day of elections. Team Unity was not ready, but Labour almost lost all 8 seats. But for the stubbornness of St. Paul's, number 6, where they never lost, and the political shenanigans in East Bastia, But Timothy Harris, as the Minister of National Security, Douglas was a failure, was very early in the first term of T immunity, tough on crime. His unique strategy was included, not only slamming the doors to criminals, but also to find an alternative pathway for them. And no matter what you opine, no matter what you say, the facts are, St. Kitts and Nevis, we have experienced a sweeping reduction in crimes, and in particular, homicides. How can we forget over 300 murders under Douglas? Imagine we reached to 30 murders in 1 year. Happy to report that the Commissioner of Police, Liburd, gave us this report about homicides just sometime last week, Tuesday to be exact.
In 2020, we recorded 10 homicides. To date, we have recorded 4 homicides for 2021. I am pleased to say so far, 75% of those homicides has been detected. That is 3 out of 4. And I can assure the listening public and viewers that I'm looking by the end of next month that my violent crime unit will be able to solve the other homicide to give us 100% detection.
100% detection rate. 4 homicides in month of 2021. 10 for the entire year 2020. Moving downwards from 35 on this. That is no mean feat. And congratulations to the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force under a successful Commissioner, Hilroy Brandy. Timothy Harris, also, as Minister of Finance, has to be the best of finance ever in the history of the Federation. And we need not debate that. The Governor of the Central Bank, Governor Antoine, had this to say based on the performance of the leadership of the Honorable Dr. Timothy Sylvester Harris.
The Monetary Council set a target of 2030 for member countries to achieve a public sector debt to GDP ratio of 60%. I congratulate St. Kitts and Nevis on being the first independent country in the ECCU to reach this target.
And that tells us the direction in which the country is headed under our Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, coming from the highest destination in the world. In terms of handling of the pandemic, this is what Barbados-based Ambassador, Her Excellency Linda Tagliafico said on the 24th of February 2020, and I quote, "I recognize the government's leadership that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis safe during the pandemic." She continued, "St. Kitts and Nevis continues to be one of those successful countries in the hemisphere in containing the spread of the disease. I know this has come at a great cost to the country's economy and its people, and we acknowledge the social and economic ramifications." The words of Barbados-based ambassador, our U.S. ambassador to St. Kitts and Nevis and to the Eastern Caribbean. But my family, what I said earlier, about the right Dr. Denzel Llewellyn Douglas. I said that he's paranoid, and I provided a basis for my conclusion. If I'm wrong, then let me know, because I will now open the lines and hear from you. The numbers are 465-2555 and or 718-577-2916. For those who need the cloak of anonymity, I give access via our email platform, and that address is zzstrattalk@gmail.com. I must always employ, when I open the lines, and I'm going to do so in a few seconds, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us, as well, in things we say and not do, to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to say good night to my brother Culture as I go to the lines at 23 minutes before 9 o'clock. My first call. You're live. Thank you for calling.
Good evening, Honorable. I want to say good night to Culture and his family, and I wish him all the best. Now, Mr. Liburd, why I heard you said just now that the former Prime Minister is the most popular, is Prime Minister, the most popular petition leader. You know, because I don't understand that. Mr. Bratcher was the most popular and the most caring Prime Minister and loving Prime Minister we ever had. That look for the people is the Prime Minister we have right now. Now, I was thinking about something. Like how Sam Condor and Denzel is back together, and Dwyer Ashcroft and them, right? Remember they said that Zamba was supposed to get some money, and well, I could say who said Sam said it. And when they went to get the money, the man was dead when he was supposed to go there. So now, like how he and them is back together now. I wonder if he will pass the money on to Zamba children and his wife by asking him for the money, because they're back in one set of shoes now. They're in a big shoes together. And they said, school children said to me today that Douglas pulled one again on them. They said when they reach at the convention or what topic they had, the meeting was strange, because they went there to hear who gonna be in charge and who gonna be a leader. And they said he said he's not ready to step down and nobody can make him step down. And then the Honorable Marcello said, me too, me stepping down. So they said the candidate they had now to run in Central, right, had to withdraw, because he figured he was up there in vain. So he just decided to pull himself from the poll, which is the #1 polling in Central Bastille for the Labour Party. But he decided to back out of it. So Dougie back to his old tricks again. And you have this the new gen, you know. But it's all old people still running the party, you know. So I don't know who fooling who. But by God's will, he out and he gonna stay out. And the longer he continued to be the leadership of the party, it will be better for team unity. So I don't know what he out to say and what he out to do. But his best bet is to go and wish himself goodbye and goes on and live his career and so on. And I want to tell you, when I went to take my vaccination, I think it was last week, Monday, the Mr. Martin was there taking his one too. And he's a known doctor, he's a respectable man and everything. And he was there taking his second shot he was taking. You know, so I don't know what Dr. Douglas got up in his mind and what he trying to tell people. But all he do is just disgracing himself. So, because what he telling us down here, that he pardon, which is Skeleton Dominica, the Prime Minister, send water down here as vaccination, I think that's disrespect for the Prime Minister of Dominica. Patrick, I'll be back later with a rebound. Thank you very much for listening to me and the people are thinking.
Thank you very much as well. And for my callers that are coming up now, let's be guided by the rules of brevity. I know I don't really clip your wings, but let's try and use 2 minutes. It's a lot of time. You can say a lot of things. Before I go to the next call, I want to just clarify one thing before I go to the next call for my good Rockefeller. I did not say that Douglas was the best or most popular prime minister. What I said was he said he was the most popular prime minister ever. As a matter of fact, this is what he said.
In the worst of pandemics for a long time, I think, in the history of our country and the world. You have failed to respond appropriately in terms of looking after the human needs of our people. Dr. Harris has just failed. He has failed the people. But he is an narcissist, so he cannot accept the blame. He must throw the blame on someone else. So Dr. Douglas, who appears to be the most popular leader ever to appear in this country, takes the blame.
Right, and I said that Dr. Douglas has to be paranoid. You're just for clarification as well, in terms of what he said about transition. Douglas said this. He literally said he's not going any place. I'm paraphrasing here, but this is what he said in fairness to him.
After the last general elections, I told the men and women who comprise the leadership of this great party that there's a number of things that I wish to do, one of which is to properly pass the mantle of leadership to the next leader as part of a smooth transition process. When the mantle is passed, comrades, our party will be ensuring the high levels of commitment and visionary leadership that are essential, especially challenging times in St. Kitts and Nevis. I am committed to this full transition of Labour's leadership process. I will not walk at that critical juncture. No, I never will. Like so much in life, this is all about timing.
Timing. He's not going. He expects election by January, the big birthday party says. And you're right. You are right about Sam Condor. And Sam Condor ought to say to the nation, if the issue he brought to the nation about this, if it's true or false, or shouldn't Douglas settle it? That's what he said.
What I could say to Douglas is that I know that the Jambo had given him money, he had loaned him money, and he had invested. And just before Zambo died, there was a meeting between Halva, myself, and Zambo about how he could recover his monies. that he invested in the property and his property and so on. And Halva was supposed to organize a meeting with Zamba and Douglas to make those arrangements. I think those meetings were organized, but shortly after that, Zamba died, shot to death.
Yes, some explanation for the nation. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, I do want to thank you for holding. I had to get this out so that those who may have just joined us understand what Rockefeller was saying. Caller, you're live.
Good night, and how it go? Good night.
I am peaceful. Sounds like good night. Good night.
Yes. Touches, I want to tell you, don't worry your head about them who back there. They ain't coming forward, it's backward they're going. Okay? And you worry your head about what they say or what they didn't say. We are looking forward, and I want to tell the Prime Minister, Dr. Harris, every morning, I know he built unity on God, on Jehovah, and all I want him to do is every morning that he wake up, he don't have to go down on his knees, just lift his hand up to Jehovah and say, in the name of Jesus, continue to give me wisdom. It's a Solomon we have in St. Kitts. You understand? So all I want to tell him is every morning when he wake up, just raise his hand to Jehovah and say, in the name of Jesus, keep on giving me wisdom. That's all he has to ask for. Nothing else, just wisdom. Let him continue asking Jehovah for wisdom every morning because he's guiding his people in the right direction. And if he keep on doing that, he will be not going nowhere. He will be, I shall not be moved. So have a good night. Enjoy your balance of your night. Be safe going home. And, I love you. I love you very much. And be good. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. And I love you more. Yes. Raise your hands. Ask God for wisdom. It's 11 before the 9 o'clock hour. I go straight back to the lines. Caller, you are live.
Good night, Mr. Ambassador.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Has St. Kitts and Nevis made any declaration with the matter going on in Jerusalem and Palestine? If we have, what is our statement? What is our position on it? If we have not, why have we not made a statement? I'll listen off here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In terms of that matter, the Security Council is really dealing with that matter. And yes, there's a representative from the CARICOM group, which is part of GULAC, and discussing the matter. So don't believe it's necessary, absolutely necessary, for St. Kitts and Nevis to make any pronouncements on that particular issue that's going on in Jerusalem at this time. With you. The matter is being discussed literally on a daily basis at the Security Council level. So it's 10 before the 9 o'clock hour. If you're just joining me, we are reflecting on the performance of our team unity administration, and we go back to the lines at 10 before the 9 o'clock hour. Caller, thank you for holding. You are live.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen Nzinga. Blessed evening, my beloved African brother. How are you all, the family?
Peaceful, we're peaceful, my dear brother. Good evening. How are your family?
Good, man. I'm good, and the clan is good, beloved. No, beloved, I just got to You know, sometimes when you kind of get mad, you just got to just smile and just laugh, beloved. Because when I hear that boy from St. Paul's, you know, the guy is just irrelevant. He's irrelevant. He's a non-entity. He don't waste 20 long years. Have the people of St. Kitts Nevis under pressure. Boy, your time has come and gone. Never again would you masquerade as the Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis. Never again. Let me repeat that. Your days are done, so brother. We're supposed to waste no time with the guy, man. You know? He's a non-entity. He's irrelevant. Beloved, what we got to do, make sure our people, especially those at the economic bottom, beloved brother, make sure our people rise spiritually, culturally, economically, and socio-economic condition, beloved, of our people. Beloved, rise to the top, beloved, and our country continue going down the good part, beloved brother. By this administration, they're not perfect, and sometimes they need a little verbal fire now and again. But what we have now, compared to what we have 1995 to 2015, brother, is like diamond to bronze, beloved. You know, and you must not give that boy no kind of credence, you know. Even call his name, you know, don't waste no time. Don't be distracted by he and none of his acolytes, his minions. We know how evil they are, beloved brother. So we must continue, unite, love each other, and keep all those traitors of the race far, far from us, beloved brother. And like I always said, there should be persona non grata. That's a little Latin. That means they are not welcome and should not be welcome amongst us, beloved brother. Let them stay as far. Let St. Kitts and Nevis breed. And we're going to continue to breed, and we're going to do very, very good in the not too distant future. Beloved, continue the great works. Continue to, before I finish, beloved, let me say blessed evening to my beloved brother Culture. Brother Culture, man, you're coming on good, brother. When they spoke the other day, man, you know, coming on good, beloved. And you know you will be coming in hot, 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 like Peter Tosh. And a blessed evening to Queen Mother Sylvie and Henry and the entire Federation. Brother, continue, keep up the good works. Pan-Africanism our perish. One love, my beloved brother.
Yes, one love, my dear brother. I goes back to the lines. Caller, your life.
A pleasant good evening to you. How are you?
I am peaceful self.
I'm okay.
I can see the dimples, even from a distance.
That is, I think I don't really think that you should really study that yes, the from St. Paul now. I give you too much almost then say just start things because you want noticement. I think I suppose when I hear that put here side because it ain't here alone crazy now. If you check them, all of them in the pack crazy, especially Kuno Bono. So you shouldn't give them the no time and do any study them there. The man want to get back in to collect the money that he has out there on everybody's name. That's what he want to get back in there for. But he's not going back in here now. He going to stay which party be, he and all of them. And Kuno Bono, he want to go government out of there. So he don't look up, he don't bring down the matching gloves and the hat them. But they ain't going nowhere enough. They may wear the gloves and the hat them at church. They ain't going away. None of them going away. So you don't have to waste no time on them there. Them there non-entity and I think you call him too good. Delusional. He passed that. All of them crazy look of facts. You don't take up some time with them there at all. And I will let you tell you, Prime Minister, whenever he having anything and what's not, he must look people good to go on top the stage. And don't go out there, go pick up Nicodemus who's short in the night. Please, go and get good people to go on top the stage to sing, people who really know what they're saying and doing, and not people who envy. He need to get good people to go on top the stage and leave them parasite there aside. And if I go anywhere and I see him got them kind of people up on top the stage that talk about them and sing for you and what's that, I'm going to go home. I am there and listen to them there. Them they Judas. And you know how to call one Judas. Patches Monday is my birthday. And you know it's a holiday. So I put in your warning now. May want a barrel. You can stop too long to come. All right, Daddy.
What you want?
You have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well, my dear.
All right, yeah.
Happy birthday when it comes.
Thank you.
You'll be 21 again.
Oh yes. Not even 21, I think was 16.
Okay, sweet 16. It's
Oh my
3 before
God.
9. Thanks a lot for your call.
Okay.
Okay, it's 2 minutes before the 9 o'clock hour. We go back to the lines. Caller, you live. I think, okay. In the event you have just joined me, my Straight Dog family, looking at the performance, my Straight Dog family, of our Team Unity administration, looked at the movement we are anticipating as we reflect on where we came from, my Straight Dog family, and as I said in the beginning, what a difference a year makes. We have moved from a faceless, or we are moving, I should say, from a faceless people, when we would look forward to on our mask. In fact, when we examine what has happened over the last year, my Straight Dog family, it's important to note, and it's important as well to call out our people, the medical community in particular, that have performed over the past years, our doctors, our nurses. But let's go to the lines before 9 o'clock. Caller, you live.
Yes, Mr. Patrick, I am here. The Bible man is here, Mr. Patrick.
How are you, Bible man?
I'm fine. I'm wonderful. I'm great. I want you say it to me, but I can spend my 20 minutes. Mr. Patrick, when I listen to you, it's amazing that Paul in the Bible, God gives Paul assignment, and Paul did not do what God said. God told Paul must kill all the Malachi. Paul killed on the ground and killed when he refused not carry out God's order. And for the 20 years that Douglas rejected the poor people, I himself tell him one time,
Blessed is the man that considereth the poor. He might not take the hand. And so God moving out of office, just how God moved Paul from the throne, Saul from the throne, and put King David, little boy David. And so God put Mr. Harris, set up Mr. Harris to be the Prime Minister of this country. And this is not maybe, this is real enough. Because I tell Mr. Harris, he can come the Prime Minister. And me done with it like that a long time. So, when you read the Bible and say and talk to God, God that will be things to you here. So Mr. Patrick, and you are so wonderful. And you continue to live up to hand to God, and God is going to bless you. Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well, my Bible man. As we go straight back to the lines, call you live.
Hello?
Caller?
Yes, are you hearing me?
Yes, you're live. Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Oh, thank you very much. Earlier you said that the GULAC, the grouping of Latin America and Caribbean, are on a committee. What is the GULAC's position on the Jerusalem and Palestine issue? And does St. Kitts and Nevis agree with that GULAC position? I listen off here.
I don't know if you are the one who called earlier, caller. You asked if St. Kitts and Nevis had a position on the Palestine-Israel issue, and I said no. I know it's normal. I don't know the wisdom of St. Kitts and Nevis as a country going it alone and making a statement. In the past, we've had CARICOM issues, and St. Kitts is a part of CARICOM, and normally the ministers of foreign affairs and of course prime minister, heads of governments, beg your pardon, will discuss issues of this nature. What I said to you, there's a member on the committee at present, a member country that is St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they come from the group of the GULAC group, and at the United Nations, the regional groups, right, to facilitate what we call geographical representation. You have the African states, you have the ASEAN or Asian states, the Eastern Europeans, the Latin American and Caribbean is GULAC, which is about 33 members, or just more than that. The African states about 53 members, so too the ASEAN states, and the Eastern Europeans have some 23 states representing. Then you have Western Europe and other states, the WIOG, which are groups or countries that are not members of particular groups like the United States of America. So in terms of a particular position coming out in relation to that conflict over there, it's a position that has not been taken at the Securities Council level. Lots of discussions are going on, so there's no set position being taken on no statement issues. As I said, I believe if St. Kitts will be part of a statement, it will be a part of statement in consort with the CARICOM grouping. I hope I explained that to you. It's now 5 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. If you're just joined me in my Street of Family, you're live.
Good night to Ian Patches Liburd. Good night.
Good
this
night,
is Mr. Politics
my brother.
Here.
Politics, how are you?
Oh, here, man, making my contribution as usual. 2 weeks back. I mean, 2 shows back to back, man. My wife left me, leave me, you know. So I had was to take it easy. But I am back. And I want to wish Brother Culture all the best. He and his wife, I want to wish them all the best. And continue to pray to God. That is, I want to thank God for this federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, this little federation, two-island state. It cannot be better on how we're going right now under a unity administration. And we got to commend the government, especially in this corona crisis time, when so much activity going on in different parts of the world, different countries shutting down still. I told today here about Trinidad again. And that is, I believe that we have a God-sent Prime Minister. You understand? To look over these men who he have. I believe he's a Moses who lead the children to Israel. And that is, the naysayers them out there will always talk and say all kind of things, try to destroy and try to mash up and try to break up. But we in this little country of us, we never see nothing like happen before under the administration, like this unity administration. And we want it. And I would not like to see it fall, Patches. Because Patches, if it fall, I do not know who we're going to turn to, or where we're going to turn to. Because I believe it's working well for the people of this federation. And even those national in the diaspora, under the spite of this COVID situation, Patches. Up to now, we didn't have one death. We didn't have no community spread. Look, the other day, somebody coming illegally in the country, and the police, they must have on the guard. Whatever he escaped from the shore he come in, and then they find him in some home. And that was so good. That's why, that could tell that the community out there is working with the police then. And that is what we want for this country. So all those who go on different radio stations and try to bring down and want to try to mash up because of the political, what they ain't get or whatsoever. You understand? We 98% literate, as we say in this country, and we got to look forward, Patches. We cannot look back. Because if we look back, we're going to turn into a pillar like that wife. Patches, I want to wish you all the best, and wish Straight Talk all the best, and the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis continue to do well. That is, you have a good night. If I get anything, come back. I'll get back. I'll come back.
Thank you very much, Mr. Politics. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Yes, good evening, Patches. I want to congratulate you just now for handling that caller in the best manner you could. The fact remains, you'll stay out of those things. That's not your position. When the government ready, and the United Nations ready, and they make a decision, and if the government of St. Kitts and Nevis want to back the decision, what the United...
Okay, I'm afraid I've lost that caller, King Rockefeller. I trust you'll call back, and since you raised the point, just to add, different groups within the United Nations system, if I can, or United Nations body, the groups that exist first and foremost for electoral and ceremonial purposes. They also coordinate on substantive issues, and they use the group structure to share information. As making the point about GULAG, but the CARICOM is a part of GULAG. It's Latin America and the Caribbean right, which has CARICOM countries. I think CARICOM had 14 members within the UN system. The St. Kitts Nevis, I don't know if there's any need for St. Kitts and Nevis to go alone and make a statement in terms of a geopolitical issue at this particular time and of that particular nature, as any directions would come to the mission here from capital. And as I said, there's COPCOR, which is the group of foreign ministers. Also, there's the heads of government that will discuss that. And I'm sure if any statement would come, it would not come from St. Kitts and Nevis. Surely it would come from the CARICOM grouping. Let's go back to the lines of my Straight Dog family. I do have a caller waiting there. I want to thank you for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Yes, caller, you're live. Hey there, caller. Okay, we're having some. Are you there, caller?
Yes, Richard, I'm here. You want to ask me something?
No. You were making a comment. I just want.
Yeah, what I am saying, right? You have people, they're trying to spread to catch a whale, to run around town and run on these radio stations and say Patchy said this and Patchy said that. But you are more educated than that, and you are more smarter than that. Then decision left on the government to think it. When they make the decision up in Washington, in United Nations, and they come to agreement, and they contact Mark Brantley, who's Secretary of State, or what he is, and then he contact the Prime Minister and so on, and then they sit down and make a decision who they come back, what is right for Israel, what is right for Palestine, or what it is. You don't get yourself caught up with them jokers about opinion. You have no opinion over nothing. God bless the Patches. Continue to do your work and do it with dignity. They just want to call your name. Okay.
Thank you very much. King of the Rock Night. King, I almost said King of the 29 Fellows. King Rockefeller. Actually, let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Hello?
Hello, caller?
Yes. As much as Rock has said, I thank Rock for his position. But if St. Kitts Nevis is a member of the United Nations, and if the CARICOM grouping are all members of the United Nations, and we believe that we have come to the path of colonialism and struggle, it is for us to speak out on an issue and not think that we have to wait for somebody else to present a position before we can have one. I am asking that as the ambassador, that you speak to Capital and ask for position to take to CARICOM, that CARICOM can take to GULAG, so that we can have a position on such a weighty matter. I will listen offline.
Caller, your point is taken, and there's really nothing else to add. You have expressed your opinion, and as I said to you, that you use the word weighty matter, and there's a United Nations Security Council, and normally what is done at that level, that resolutions are advanced, right? And once the resolutions are advanced, then countries can support it. But as I said to you again, I'll say the same thing, that St. Kitts Nevis is part of the CARICOM grouping, and the of Foreign Affairs under COFCO, right, will no doubt discuss it. As weighty as it is, I'm sure the heads of government will discuss that, and the CARICOM would issue any communication in relation to such a weighty matter. I take your point, but you have your say, and you're entitled to your say. As a citizen, I believe, if you are of St. Kitts and Nevis, and we say it on, I take it on board, but I quite honestly and respectfully do not agree with you if that's the way forward. But my straight dog family, it's 16 past the 9 o'clock hour. If you're just joining me, we looked at the changes that are anticipated as it relates to the COVID. You know, overall, I made the point earlier that there's a unity of purpose, and the only unities that last are the only unities that are of any durability are unities of purpose. The effects of unity, born of a clear and substantial purpose, are demonstrated in St. and Nevis. Finally, the consequences of confused goals are immediately, as I said, immediately my straight dog family discernible in decay, distraction, and disillusion. Let me take this email message, which reads, Patches, good evening. Liar, liar, house on fire. Denzel Douglas takes a bacon. The political midget is not giving up. Those so-called bright young folks frail him. That animal will not hurt again, and they are afraid to throw him out of the party. Short people are a problem, it seems. You have two in the party. You were in that, is just like him, but another case is on the horizon for them too good. Beg your pardon. Good night. God bless. Reads that email. This other email reads, perhaps I should actually reflect before I go to that email. It's a very long email. I sometimes like to scan them before I start reading them, for obvious reasons, my straight dog family. But as I was saying earlier, that it is objectively true to say that 2020 is, on balance, one of the worst years of the last century lived humans. But it will be quite a while to understand thoroughly how history will judge the year of pandemic. That the year is almost in the rearview mirror, and know that the distribution of vaccines provided a glimpse of what might be the faintest glimmer of a light at the end of the COVID-19 tunnel, that should be. We might start thinking about 2020, or what 2020 has wrought, and what it means as a people. I made mention of a famous quotation from Vladimir Lenin, interesting, a communist, and that. And it goes like this, and I quote, there are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. To deny that our world has fundamentally changed in the last year is to deny reality. Life is change, and to resist change, my straight dog family, to want things to go back to normal or to remain the same is like trying to design and control the uncontrollable. Our lives have changed by the events of 2020, and now it is up to each of us to determine how we wish to move forward. My Shedog family, as we consider what's going on at the basic level, COVID-19 has impacted the people's health, whether severely for those infected with the virus or those experiencing intense health distress, or more moderately for those whose health has declined due to the lack of social interaction, lack of fresh air and sunshine, lack of healthy food, delayed health care, and overall increased stress. These are some of the derivatives of the COVID-19 pandemic. At the next level, COVID-19 has impacted our economic situation, whether severely for those who have lost their jobs or more moderately for those who saw their finances strained due to cutbacks. My Shedog family. This email reads, Mr. Ambassador, I would very much like to know if elections are next week, because I'm hearing so much that it makes me wonder why all this talk, wondering what all this talk is about. I am convinced that all the leaders are the same, come from the same, because does not want to give up the leadership, and Harris doesn't want to give up the leadership at the end of his second term. They are all one of the same. A caller said that they want Harris every day and raise his hands and thank God, and he will remain in office. They want Harris to be another Douglas. I am very disappointed with Harris because in both elections he promised some things, and up to now we have not seen them, and this has disappointed me. Why is it so clear to the eyes? And I am just looking on. Why is Harris trying to place candidates in the area where Pam has his candidates? I get the impression that Harris is fighting against Pam under a hiding coat. I have heard time after time that you, Mr. Ambassador, will be running in #1 under the banner of PLP. And that really make me have food for thought. Confirm or deny, please. A very candid person reads this email. I don't know if that's a question to respond to, but like I said, I think I responded to that before. You know, I don't know why people are contemplating or speculating rather that elections are due. Elections, as far as I know, are called every, and the last elections was last year, 2020, June, to be exact. I think it was the 5th of June. That was a Friday. Elections are not due until 2012. And I will say, I said before, I'll say now, I was born, raised, still live in East Bastille. And if the people of East Bastille consider me worthy to serve them, I will never turn my back on them. I say to you, as I say to the people of East Bastille, you know me and I know you. And what I will say in concluding, Mr. Carty, if that is your right name, whenever we reach that bridge, we will cross it. So the speculating is really not necessary at this point in time. We go back to the lines. Caller who are live. I do want to thank you.
Good night. Ian touches Liburd. Good night.
My dear brother, good night.
This is Jam Down here.
Jam Down.
They study the Constitution Convention. Let us study the Constitution Convention where the vagabond drop on them last week Friday. They can't mash up unity in that them deal. Unity will always reign in this country. And Timothy ain't going nowhere. Timothy is not going nowhere. Patrons, I come simply to say one or two things here because Rasta make good contribution in this country for a lot of years. And Zambo used to contribute for the African Liberation Day for many years. And he's no longer here. And the brothers them is going through a little financial problems to get things done. And people who got generation money, you know, and watch government money, you know, where you could tell them, you know, that the rest of fraternity is a part of this country. And that African Liberation Day in this country, in this COVID time, should get help from the government. All they simply asking for is some tents and a little donation that they could get the function going. But if you remember the years of that thing there in the square, in Grandestro, you know what that there used to bring to the community over the years when you watch brothers from all parts of the country. I could call some of them names. I really Sato, Zakazak, Glenn up the Pasha. Many others who contribute to that deal. Mr. Prime Minister, please honor that letter when he come and answer the brothers them call. We never hear them calling the government for help. When they...
Okay, we seem to have lost that call again. I trust you'll call back, my dear brother. Jump down. And as I said, you know, I don't know where this is coming from, and I can even mention this as well. I stayed away from this discussion of this, and as that emailer intimated that Harris doesn't really want to go. If you look at the national unity document, it spoke to constitutional changes as it relates, and it spoke to term limits. And in fact, based on that, the team unity government, of which I was a part, we went to the parliament and it was not passed. The Labour Party did not support it from the opposition benches because they needed a constitutional amendment, or rather, the constitutional amendment would have required, or would require, a 2/3 majority of elected members voting. Let's say, just for discussion's sake, had that bill passed, I think it was 2 years ago, what would have happened is that Denzel Douglas, who served 20 years almost as Prime Minister, would not have been excluded from serving 2 more terms, because you don't make a bill retroactive, right? It is that in term uses perspective. So if the bill is passed tomorrow, then you start the clock ticking from that particular day. No one can say, if the bill is passed, that Denzel Douglas could not have served 2 more terms. And that's the fact. So whenever the bill is passed, then it is put into what I think it's called perspective. And the clock starts ticking from that particular time. It's not retroactive. Let's go to the lines. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller. Caller, you live.
Yes, Brother Patches. But the parties I just called because I hear Jam Down speaking that the brothers and sisters who they put on the African Liberation, the celebration, which will be next Tuesday, you know, is African Liberation Day. So, and whatsoever they're asking this administration to assist them with, brother, no one supposed to have no difficulty in doing that. Mr. Prime Minister, I don't know the procedure, whether you can do it alone or you got to go to the cabinet, you know, and get the okay from, come to a consensus and the brothers. But whatsoever it is, Mr. Prime Minister, you and the cabinet must do it expeditiously, because when it comes to all kind of concessions for other people, they get it. So we think it's Nevis is an African nation in terms of its population. Let me repeat that. It's an African nation in terms of its population. And our ancestors' blood is in the soil. Think it's Nevis, and that will be there forever. So, Mr. Prime Minister, do the right thing, assist the brothers and sisters, so they can put on the African Liberation, the celebration, expeditiously. But the parties, thanks again for hearing me. Pan-Africanism our perish. One love, my beloved brother.
One love, my brother. Thanks for your intervention as usual. All times, my straight up family, we go back to the lines. Caller, you live.
Curtis.
Yes, my dear.
Good night. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Listen.
Oh, that's
you
that's
read
the day,
a thing here not too long, and this person saying that they're hearing that you're going to run up in your town, and my Prime Minister putting people in constituency. You don't let nobody put no words in your mouth, and don't study with none of them. Well, my Prime Minister, he well done. And you don't study with nobody. They don't dictate for you now, my Prime Minister. Whatever are you do, are you well done. Because if the country never was like this all the time. God bless my Prime Minister, Honorable Timothy Harris. I don't care what I say. Love you.
Love you more, my dear cuz. It's 9:34, 26 before 10. Call you live. Hello, caller. Have we missed the call? Okay, we seem to have missed that call, my Street Dog family. And the issue as it relates to the billing out, or rather, I do have another email here, and I don't normally call names that send emails, really. So I thank you for the confirmation, saying that yes, I am the name you see. I'm not doubting you, but it's not a norm that I'll call names of anyone who send emails or messages to the program. Really, I'm even sometimes cautious to call my Facebook massive, because sometimes I miss some people, and I hate to miss some people as well. But this message reads, I would want you to run for number 1, but I would want you to run on a PAM ticket. You should not have lost the last election, and I still do not believe that you lost that seat. You deserve running for PAM. I will vote for you, reads that email. Thanks for the support, my dear brother. And I say, hitting up my Facebook massive as I said, I'd like to, do not like to call the names, but they're public nonetheless. But let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Patrick, good night.
Good night, my dear St. Croix.
Yes. Good night
The
to
warrior from
everybody.
the
Manners,
east.
good night. But tap up again. Culture, good night. Patrick, you know, I want to say, it comes up only some people who say what they want and do what they want. The lady come from Trinidad and she said something about the Prime Minister, maybe I told Tom. The Prime Minister didn't tell her to say so. I just say so, and everybody does say so, because of the good work he's doing. Ellen Bower to get on the radio station and he always talking about how the Prime Minister going on a full plate, and the Prime Minister must have had some kind of meeting with the boy from East Bastille. He went going against Douglas. That's he right, that the Prime Minister want to run a full plate, he right. He do what he wants, you know. Everybody could say what they want, but some people want to say what they want, and what is a problem. Eh? I don't know what happened to these people here, you know, Patsy, they're sickening for true, you know. They're just getting on the radio and talking, just dictating for people. If the Prime Minister wants to run a full state, he do what he wants. I could come up, think it, and decide I'm going to run a full state. Who's going to stop me? Am I saying it? Only them could say what they want and do what they want. But when somebody else say and do what they want, is a problem. Eh? The man come on and say, oh, she come here, want to do this and want to do that. The Prime Minister ain't asking nobody to give him a third term. It's really pushing him and saying, okay, the good work you're doing, but he done say himself to term. But they went in Parliament and they didn't pass it, they didn't vote for it, so what am I argue for? I think you have a safe night. Here, them people sick. Prime Minister, do what you want. I'm with you. And if you want me to run in his basket patches, I will run for PLP. Laugh at them. Good night, Captain.
Good night, my warrior from the east. You know, it's very interesting, some of these perspectives. But you made one very good point, one very important point, one very salient point. In all of this, we are leaving out the people. We are saying this person agreed to serve for 2 terms. This person is saying that he will be the next Prime Minister. Or this person would say he will serve 2 more terms. But the fact of the matter is, and you just brought that out, Jackie from St. Croix, it is the people that decide. As a matter of fact, it was the people that decided they wanted a unity government, not the parties. There were 2 polls done in 2013 and I think it was 2014, and over 70% of the people surveyed demanded that they wanted to get away from this tribalism, and they wanted the people to come together in a unity, a construct, I think was the term was used. And that is what the people asked for, and that is what the people got. Some people, some parties seem to want to go on their own, but at the end of the day, it is the people who decide what they need. Patches reads this email: the bridge to Nevis, the new hospital, the RLB airport, etc. What is up with these? And I believe St. Kitts needs to cope with the tourism development. Build a highway around the island of St. Kitts, because the present road is not capable for ongoing or for going around the island of St. Kitts. Please explain and say something. The airport need to have a jet boarding bridge. Thank you. Reads that mail. Yes, my straight dog family, I am aware that discussions are still ongoing as it relates to the bridge to Nevis. The Premier, I recall, has supported that project, and we look forward to that. I know as well about, we've heard talk about bypass roads, and all these projects cost money. All these projects have to be carefully planned. Caller, it's 19 before 10 o'clock hour. You are live.
Your patches again. Your patches, I hear say earlier
Yes, sir.
that the man is coping. The man who is on the opposition side, they want to get leadership, is coping. And I got an idea.
Know what you mean by coping?
Hello?
You know what we mean by coping?
Yeah, he coping. like he want to remove himself from leader at the party or leader for nothing. You know, he just want to be because he coping something. Patches, that's why you see that these people from different radio talk shows just talk all kind of ignorance, trying to cause veg in the unity government. You understand? When you hear them talking, because I hear some from the propagandists them too, that what they're trying to do to get these unity members them with Dr. Harris, and they go to the governor and say the cross is opening because they want to repeat back with Dr. Harris with Douglas and when he was there with Douglas. They're trying to stop all of that and trying to stop things. That's why you said. That's why you hear them talk about election. You understand? But Patrick, I can tell you plain, right? The election ain't gonna come to the next 5 years. And I know the people of this country are so stupid. And I know the community members them in government, they're so stupid. Because Patrick, what we went through under the farmer administration, especially with our sugar industry closed down, with no plan for the ordinary man and woman who work in the sugar industry. Not a thing they get. Nothing. So who you going to bring back there? So the two farmer ministers were up on the radio every Friday, and whosoever the people on the radio talking the nonsense. Up to some week ago, a guy called me politics, me go to the hospital road. What has done to the village under some Kanda? Look at the Pachelas playground. Look at the playground over Lime Keel. Patches, nothing has done. The guy tell me nothing has done, and some fundraiser attack every day, and he ain't done nothing to the village, a development of smooth or nothing. Even the boys play field and all. Only thing that we want something, some bleachers and so down there, and everything will be alright. And the lights them fixed down there. Even the boys play field. And I killed her when she went in, she just fixed up everything and got the thing going look good. So, Patches, they will talk, but I do not believe the people of this country is so stupid who talk about them going back with where they come from. I tell you, we ain't looking back, because we don't want this country turned into a pillar of salt. We ain't looking back, we're going forward. And with the team unity government, we got to go forward. And good night to me brother down there in Tatola Maris. And Judge, good night. Patches, you have a wonderful night again. May God bless the Federation of Sink It and Nevis, and God bless the cabinet members, and God bless our Prime Minister. He's doing well. Blessed.
Blessed, Mr. Politics. And you're correct. Let's go back to the lines nonetheless. Caller, you're live.
Good night. Good night, Patches.
Good night.
And this is Anita calling from St. Thomas.
Oh, the voice sounded familiar. How are you?
Better. If the people want that Timothy to be to run as the third time, it's the people. It's just the people. If the people want that the Prime Minister is a good Prime Minister, and he's talking with some people who are messing up too, saying all kind of bad things about the man. So leave him alone. He's a good Prime Minister.
minister. Because if I had to work back home, I working for unity. And unity people and them men that work with the government, they better work good with Timothy. Because we all love him. I love him. I don't care what nobody say. And we don't need to here in St. Thomas. Better known as Rita, so everybody know me. The man is a good man. The man is a good man. And as you said, the people who want him back, they just want him back. Simple.
Heard you loud and clear. Rita?
Yes.
Anita?
Okay. Rita for Boogie.
Nice. You let yourself out now, Boogie.
I just don't care. If the people want that Mr. Timothy Harris the Prime Minister, that's it. Nobody could stop it. Elections are started. That's still a talk about election. Election just gone. So men really what I'm talking about. They need to cool out. Some content, they need to cool out. Because labor out. Out. Trust me.
Heard you loud and clear. My warrior from the east.
Okay then.
Boogin. Thanks a lot for your input, my straight dog family. We go back to the lines. Call your line.
Good night to you, Brother Patches.
Good night, sir.
It's been a long while I haven't heard from you, my brother.
Voice sounds familiar.
This is Jam Down.
Oh, from on the yard. How is Jamaica?
I greet you well. I must commend you for the hard work. I actually was in the Federation, and I have been seeing the work that you left, brother. And I must commend you. I know you're not a new portfolio, but I commend you. I commend the government of the Team Unity Administration for the work that I'm seeing in this country. It is absolutely amazing. I'm just dumbstruck. Yeah, I went up to the health center up in Tabernacle, and I am just amazed to see the work across the Federation of this country. And I will say to the people of this country to ignore the noise and ignore all that is being said and remain steadfast and focused so as to reopen your borders and to reopen your country back to a sense of business. But that can only happen when we do what is necessary with vaccination. Yes?
Yes, you're so right, and I'm humble. I'm humbled by the commendation.
I had the privilege at seeing the East Bus Terminal. I had the privilege of seeing the West Bus Terminal. And I couldn't believe that at these bus terminals you're seeing portable areas that you can charge your phones. We don't have those things in Jamaica. And Jamaica is a so-called developed CARICOM member state. And so I must commend the government for doing the hard work. I must commend the Prime Minister too for leading a cabinet that seemingly that has the people's interest at heart. And I don't normally discuss politics on this program, Brother Patches. I normally love to discuss development and issues, but I must commend the PM. I must commend him for the hard work. It is not easy being a leader, It is not easy leading a country because you have all issues to deal with. Yeah? And so I want to say to him and to the members of the cabinet, remain focused, remain steadfast on the mission at hand. And to the people of the Federation, remember that people are looking on and they are impressed with this country. And that record that you all have developed so far must continue.
Thank you, my dear brother. Are you back in Jamaica?
No, I am not. I am
okay.
Still on vacation, and so I'm enjoying all that the Federation has to offer. I went over to the peninsula, to the beach, You know, I'm just enjoying and basking in the fact that there are no COVID restrictions like what I'm facing back home. Yeah?
Could understand.
So I say to you, keep up the hard work. I say to the Prime Minister, keep up the hard work and continue to keep the people. As I see this government seemingly is a government that is the center and of policy is people. And keep on doing those things for the people. And once you love the people will love you.
Certainly. The government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
So continue the hard work, and I continue to stay in tune to your program. And I also want to extend, even though it's late, my deepest condolences to one of your favorite callers, Marsha from Sandy Point, who lost her mother. I know it's still a difficult time, but I still want to extend condolences to her and the family as they cope in a difficult time.
Thank you very much for your intervention, as usual, for the commendation, and for the sound advice. And yes, my Street Dog family, remain focused, remain steadfast, and ignore the noise. And that caller just echoed what was the sentiment that was expressed before. It's about people. It's what the people want. It's not what the party wants. It's not what a particular leader wants. The people make the decision. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. It's now 7 before 10.
The Patrick, I want to thank the caller there from Jamaica. And I wish him that he have a good stay in St. Kitts. And I wish him all the best during the time he here. And so on. Because everything that come out, that guy out, is so true, so righteous, and so good for the government and people of St. Kitts. Patrick, I remember the days when you was there. You do everything that you've been asked to do. And you come out in flying colors in all of them. And then the day of election, some of them who you run for turn their back on you. You understand me? So, God is good. Look at you today. So if you want to come back tomorrow and run, you come back and run. You never have no problem with them, you know. Them had a problem with you because they claim that you was under the Prime Minister too much. But when them were getting the wheeling and dealing and they're under the Prime Minister, nobody was saying nothing. But they make sure, let's move Patches because he too close to the Prime Minister. You understand me? But God is good. He don't sleep, he don't slumber. You understand me? He take a little booze off, but he is always there. When you think he's sleeping, he watching you with a back up. You understand me? So, don't let nobody discourage you from running. You never did the abandoned palm, nothing at all. They come, they call a slip meeting, and try to put you like you're not supposed to run again in your town. Like you ain't born there and you ain't know nothing about in your town. You understand me? They forget you was a fisherman up there. You understand me? So what are you frightened for? They should not be frightened. They should not be frightened. No, the tears is turning. They're trying to wonder what's going on. You understand me? They're wondering what's going on. When they had 6 to form a government, they throw you out. You see how smart they be? They had 6, you know, to form a government, but they throw you out. You know? But you will always have the Prime Minister and some members of government in your corner. And some will against you. But while God is for you, nobody can stop you. So don't worry about running again and nothing. You got the right to run. If you want to run as a orange, you run as a orange. If you want to run independent, you run independent. You have the right to do that. It's there where you're born and bred. Okay? You have my family support and you have my support, and you know that. So God bless you. God bless the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, and God bless St. Kitts and Nevis of a beautiful federation. And to the Jamaican guy, tell him if you're in the area, he could stop by me. Me get a drink. He might not be so cold, but he will get a drink. Okay. Thank you, Patrice.
Thank you very much, Rockefeller. Why is your drinks not cold? I'm a little curious. Let's go back to the lines. Call you live. Okay. But here's what. I think we're winding down tonight's program. And we've discussed issues. The main issues really was moving out of from this COVID lockdown and these faceless people, because really during the last year they've been faceless. You see your friends, you can't recognize them because everybody's masked up, you know. But the truth is, we are not going to retreat from the way we came. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Patrick.
So.
Little paper man, yeah. If you are water, you come into the bag. Where the point is from?
Turn the radio down. Turn the radio down, Bible man.
I turn it down.
You haven't read a scripture verse me for a long time, you know. I wonder why.
Patrick, the word of God says that every man that can with the power. In the time of trouble, the Lord had been with you. The word of God said in Isaiah 54:17, no weapon that form against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that riseth against thee in judgment shall condemn. This is the servant of the Lord and the righteous of me. Romans chapter 8. Knowing all these things, you are more than conqueror to them that love you. You're the conqueror, Mr. Patrick. That's Romans chapter 8. Knowing all these things, you are more than conqueror to them that love you. Let me say so, God says so. In all we went through, you still come out a conqueror. So, and the word of God asked Psalm 37, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord.
Yes.
You hear me about it? The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and that is yours. They think they can get rid of you, but God will be in your corner. And now the Satan, they will wonder what, they'll question them email and all that could be, you're not saying and tell you, the Satan, they don't know what's going down. But I always tell people that only man, one man, know the future. Who knows? what will happen when favor is of a man. God favor the man, and God put them, and all of them who be a hole for you, they end up in the same ditch, and they are way in the balancing, and for one to Mr. Patrick, I got the fool waiting for. In Isaiah, there is no peace, said the wicked. He said the wicked are like a troubled sea. Every morning they get up, they're being troubled at the darkness. They had to go up on the radio station and call up their neighbor. Because they are troubled. They don't got no peace. So Mr. Patrick, you don't have no worry. The word of God said, rest patiently in the Lord. He said, must rest patiently in the Lord. Psalm 34. They said, the young lion do slack and suffer hunger. You hear? But the Lord delivers him out of all. Mr. Patrick, have a pleasant night to hear. And that all those passages of scripture belongs to you. You take care. Good night. Bye.
Yes, the Bible man, by thank you. And perhaps that's the way we have or ought to end it tonight. The steps of a good man, as you said, are ordered by the Lord. My time is done and I've got to run. But what I can say, my Stray Dog family, is we have a choice. We can retreat back the way we came, hoping that if we choose its path, miraculously, we just may not recreate the life we had back in 2015. That has to be an illusion. We can return to that state of hopelessness we had before 2015, when the country under a leader went with a cap in hand begging before the IMF, because we were the highest, if not one of the highest detonations in the world. Crime was rampant. Hopelessness was what existed. We can choose the path that has led us so far to a new way of living, and we have all found new meaning for our lives under Team Unity, no matter what some people may try to say. And forgive me, I almost forgot this email. I should have read it before, and I will read it now. Hello, Mr. Ambassador. I wish to write this email for the last tonight, and I would like to point out that I have not said anything regarding Harris. If the people want him, they will get him. I would like to compliment you on the works you have done, and this is why I think that you are needed to return to your ministry. I think you did quite an amount of good things, and your people were blind when they voted against you, if they did. Mr. Ambassador, my brother was in hospital a few weeks ago, and I must say to you that I was really saddened when I saw tears coming from my brother's eyes when he complained about the bathrooms. I would like the government to put some or put more money into the hospital and less money into the strip. I must admit that a lot could be put into the hospital to make the patients more comfortable. Please understand, I am honest, I am an honest person, and I speak only the truth. And that's what we promote on Straight Talk, my dear brother. Ambassador, we need you back, even though you are doing a good job in the position you have, but we need you back. And that's what we promote on Straight Talk emailer. We promote the truth. We've had a discussion tonight, and my time is done. I must run. Like the admonition we receive to remain focused, remain steadfast, and ignore the noise. My Straight Talk family, elections are not due, as far as I know, until 2025. Do not get distracted. And as I said before, I'll say in concluding, Team Unity came out of the people's expression for a desire to move away from the tribalism, from this partyism, if I can make up a word, fabricate a word, this Pam and Labour fight. The people said they had enough of that. They wanted a unity government. The unity administration, the unity government has worked. No one can dispute that. The unity government, the unity administration has a great prime minister. No one can dispute that. Some people don't like to hear that. But as that emailer said, on Straight Talk, we talk the truth. I submit, unless Dr. the Honorable Timothy Sylvester Harris implodes, he will be one of the best, if not the best, Prime Minister St. Kitts has ever had. Let us reflect for a moment as I conclude. St. Kitts and Nevis has had some good leaders, popular leaders. Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw, our national hero, was a popular leader. He left a legacy of land acquisition for the people. I believe, though, that Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw should have distributed the lands to the people. But perhaps he just was cautious that the people would have a sense of independence, and he never wanted that. Kennedy Simmons was popular, a very popular leader, and somehow that turned around. Some other time we will talk about why the Kennedy Simmons administration went downhill. Denzel Douglas, we must admit, he was popular. At the height of his popularity, I believe the what is called, I forgot the term, some time I'll tell about it. But he was in power. The spirit or the air of incumbency crept into Douglas, and he felt he did no wrong, and he lost it, and he went downhill. Harris, no one can argue that Timothy Sylvester Harris is a popular man anywhere you go in the country and throughout the Caribbean, and he has done well. He has turned crime around. No matter what you say about the peace initiative, you've heard the Commissioner of Police said 10 homicides in 2020, coming from a high of 35 under Denzel Douglas. As we speak, there are 4 homicides, 4 too many, my Straight Dog family. But that's what Harris, or the leadership of Harris and his cabinet, has done to reduce crime in St. Kitts and Nevis. The economy. Surplus, surplus, surplus. Then came the pandemic. The whole world was brought to its knees because of the pandemic. St. Kitts is part of the world, but we have done well in spite of the pandemic, my Straight Dog family. As I said, and I'll perhaps read it before I leave, which was found in the Observer of February 24, 2001. And this is coming from the United States Ambassador to Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean, an organization of Eastern Caribbean states. Her Excellency Linda Tagliatella, who said about the Harris administration. She said, I recognize the government's substantial leadership in keeping the people of St. Kitts and Nevis safe during the pandemic. She went on, St. Kitts and Nevis continues to be one of the most successful countries in the hemisphere in containing the spread of the disease. I know, she continued, this has come at a great cost to the country's economy and its people, and we acknowledge the social and economic ramifications. Those are the words of the U.S. Ambassador to the East Caribbean and the OAS. And my Straight Dog family, we are not going back where we came from, but the people, I said, will decide. We've had a government of the people, for and by the people. And no matter what they will try to say to you, only the people matter at this time. My Straight Dog family, my time is done and I gotta run. But in the process, I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. And as always, I want to thank the many callers. There's some callers who just can't get in. I don't know why. Our telephone lines improved a lot. Some people get in 2 and 3 times. I don't know how that happens. But for those of you who could not get in, try and try again. I want to thank my Facebook massive. Those, a matter of fact, on social media, I should say, YouTube and other media. Those who listened to the radio. The radio is still very pervasive in St. Kitts and Nevis and beyond. And I want to thank those who listen to the national radio station ZIZ at 96.5 on the FM band. Remember, all of you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that I say a big, big thank you. I want to thank one more time Albert Bradley, who is in the hot seat in the studio. I want to thank in the boiler room Bevan Wilkinson and John James. Without them, all of them, Straight Talk wouldn't be possible. So until we connect, my Straight Talk family, on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk, remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all you got to do is just to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday. Culture, have a good night. My sisters Joan and Marge, have yourself a good night. Jasmine, Kelly, Sasha Marlin, all the ferry terminal massive. My good friend Trini, Nurse, even Daniel, and even all the massive there on Public Station, and everyone, Fan, Karen, the whole bunch, Al Wali, and the Junior Minister Chris. Have yourselves a wonderful time, all of you. Till we connect on Thursday, be good to all whom you meet, and remember, just keep moving on. Bye-bye.
Down on my knees, to the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my God, and to keep